A Christmas gift. The small town in Ohio was blanketed in white during the winter season. Snow fell gently, covering rooftops, porches, and bare trees. The golden glow of streetlights made the snow glisten, and windows adorned with green and red wreaths created a warm Christmas atmosphere. The chimes of the church bells echoed far and wide, blending with the soft whispers of the winter wind. In a modest apartment, Della stood by the window, gazing down at the snowy street below. Della, about 22 years old, was a young woman with fair, rosy skin and long, silky auburn hair cascading down her shoulders. Her blue eyes were filled with thought as she watched the snowflakes fall, her hands gently clutching an old scarf wrapped around her neck. She wore a worn green sweater, but her gentle demeanor radiated warmth. Behind her, Jim, her 25-year-old husband, sat at the kitchen table. Jim had short brown hair, a chiseled face, and deep brown eyes that carried a sense of quiet strength. He wore an old gray coat and was carefully counting a few coins and small bills on the table. His brows furrowed, and his lips pressed into a thin line, but when he looked up at Della, his face softened, his gaze filled with affection.
Della, we only have $15 left. I don't know how I can get you a meaningful Christmas gift with so little.
Jim said quietly, his voice heavy with concern. Della turned around, her soft smile lighting up the room. She stepped closer and placed her hand on Jim's shoulder, giving it a gentle squeeze.
Don't worry, Jim. Christmas isn't about what we receive, it's about how we love each other. Having you is all I need.
Jim looked into her eyes, his lips curving into a faint smile, but deep down, he already had a secret plan. He knew Della had always admired the ivory comb she'd seen in the shop near the square. Her long, beautiful hair would look even more stunning with it. Della, unaware of Jim's thoughts, had a plan of her own. She thought about Jim's silver pocket watch, a cherished heirloom from his father. Jim treasured it deeply, but its leather strap had long since worn out. A new strap would make him so happy. December 24th. The snow fell heavier, blanketing the ground in a soft, white sheet. The cold air was biting, but the streets were alive with children playing, their laughter echoing as they tossed snowballs at one another. Storefronts were aglow with lights, and passers-by hurried along, their arms filled with shopping bags. Della returned home, her cheeks flushed red from the cold. A smile played on her lips as she clutched a small box containing the leather strap for Jim's watch. She had cut off her long, beloved hair and sold it to a wig shop down the street. Now, her hair was cropped short, barely reaching her chin, but the neat style framed her face beautifully, accentuating her bright blue eyes and delicate features. As she stepped inside, the warm glow of a tiny Christmas tree in the corner lit up Jim's face. He was sitting there, but when he saw her, he froze.
Della. Your hair.
Jim stammered, his eyes wide with shock. Della smiled softly and walked over to him.
Jim, I cut my hair. I wanted to give you a meaningful Christmas gift.
She handed him the small box, her eyes brimming with love. Jim took the box, his hands trembling slightly. Slowly, he opened it to reveal the new leather strap for his watch.
You sold your hair for this?
Jim asked, his voice thick with emotion. A faint smile tugged at his lips, but his eyes glistened with tears. Della nodded.
Don't be sad, Jim. My hair will grow back. Christmas is the time to do something meaningful for the ones we love.
Jim let out a soft laugh, though his voice was shaky. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out another small box, placing it in her hands.
This is my gift to you, Della.
Della opened the box to reveal the ivory comb she had always dreamed of. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she looked up at him.
Jim, how did you afford this?
Jim smiled, his eyes shining with a mix of humor and tenderness.
I sold my watch.
They looked at each other, then burst into laughter. Tears of joy streamed down their faces, but they felt no sorrow, only a deep warmth in their hearts. Jim pulled Della into a tight embrace.
We may be poor, but we are rich in love. This is the best Christmas I've ever had.
Outside, the snow continued to fall, but the world seemed to glow brighter, illuminated by their simple yet profound love. The tiny Christmas tree in the corner sparkled, bearing witness to a story of sacrifice and the true meaning of Christmas.
Vocabulary words with definitions and examples from the story A Christmas Gift. 1. Blanketed, covered entirely, often with a layer of snow or another substance. Example: the small town was blanketed in snow during the winter season. 2. Glisten, to shine with a sparkling or shimmering light. Example: the snow glistened under the golden glow of the streetlights. 3. Adorned, decorated, or made more beautiful. Example: windows adorned with green and red wreaths created a warm Christmas atmosphere. 4. Rosy, having a pinkish color, often used to describe healthy skin. Example: Della's cheeks were rosy from the cold. 5. Cherished, deeply loved or valued. Example: Jim treasured his silver pocket watch, a cherished heirloom from his father. 6. Heirloom, a valuable object passed down through generations. Example: the silver pocket watch was a family heirloom. 7. Furrowed, deeply wrinkled, often due to worry or concentration. Example: Jim's brows furrowed as he counted the few coins on the table. 8. Brimming, filled to the top, often used figuratively to describe emotions. Example: Della's eyes were brimming with love as she handed Jim the box. 9. Trembling, shaking slightly, often due to emotion or cold. Example: Jim's hands were trembling as he opened the box. 10. Profound, very deep or intense, often used to describe feelings or meaning. Example: their love was simple yet profound, reflecting the true spirit of Christmas.
Phrases with definitions and examples from the story A Christmas Gift. 1. Soft whispers of the winter wind, the gentle sound of the wind blowing. Example: the soft whispers of the winter wind blended with the chimes of the church bells. 2. Golden glow, a warm, yellowish light that creates a comforting atmosphere. Example: the golden glow of the streetlights illuminated the snow-covered streets. 3. Heavy with concern, showing or filled with worry. Example, Jim's voice was heavy with concern as he spoke about their limited money. 4. Burst into laughter, to suddenly start laughing energetically. Example, they looked at each other and burst into laughter, realizing the irony of their gifts. 5. Radiated warmth, to emit a feeling of comfort or kindness. Example, despite her worn sweater, Della radiated warmth with her gentle demeanor. 6. Lit up with affection, to become brighter or more expressive due to love or happiness. Example, Jim's face lit up with affection as he looked at Della. 7. Snow-covered rooftops, roofs blanketed with snow. Example, snow-covered rooftops added to the serene beauty of the small town. 8. Accentuating her delicate features, highlighting or making her fine facial characteristics more noticeable. Example, Della's short hair framed her face, accentuating her delicate features. 9. Quiet strength, a calm but strong presence or demeanor. Example, Jim's deep brown eyes reflected his quiet strength. 10. Sparkled in the corner, shined or glimmered brightly in a specific spot. Example, the tiny Christmas tree sparkled in the corner of their apartment, adding to the festive atmosphere.